And European leaders are warning that any deal must not weaken Ukraine's security, insisting that without strong deterrence, Russia would simply return to the fight. Our correspondent Robert Moore has the latest.
These are critical talks that may decide the future shape and stability of Ukraine and of Europe. The US and Ukrainian delegations met for much of the day in Geneva, reworking a peace plan that was originally seen as heavily favouring Moscow. The US Secretary of State emerged to give a remarkably upbeat assessment of this high-stakes diplomacy.
I think today was worthwhile. It was it is probably the most productive day we have had on this issue, maybe in the entirety of our engagement, but certainly in a very long time.
And earlier in the day, during the first break in the talks, the Ukrainians shared the optimism.
I want to confirm that we have a very productive first session with distinguished American delegation. We have very good progress and we are moving forward to the just and lasting peace. Ukrainian people deserve and want this peace more than anyone in this planet.
But Donald Trump has been angrily posting on social media about the lack of gratitude from Ukraine's leadership, reverting to the anti-Zelensky language of earlier in the year. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, the prospects for a durable peace seem remote. The Russians have continued their drone and artillery bombardment of Ukrainian cities, inflicting casualties and damage in a war that in a few months' time will enter its fifth year. For their part, a Ukrainian drone attack penetrated defences in the Moscow region, hitting a Russian power plant and setting it alight. Another sign that Ukraine retains the ability to strike deep behind the front line. For his part, President Zelensky has been addressing Ukrainians, insisting the country never wanted war and would never be an obstacle to peace. But under immense military and diplomatic pressure tonight, the question is whether he can sell to his people major concessions, including surrendering land that has been the subject of such intense fighting for so long.
And Robert joins us now from Washington. Robert, talk of progress tonight, but clearly President Trump is running out of patience.
That's absolutely true. I mean, Donald Trump once again expressing the grievances we saw during that infamous Oval Office ambush back in February. Today insisting that the Ukrainian leadership is showing a lack of gratitude. Now, Zelensky has fired back at that, saying Ukrainians are deeply, profoundly grateful to the Americans, to the Europeans, to the G20 and to the G7. I think the key question coming out of these Geneva talks is whether the Ukrainians around the table and the Europeans behind the scenes are able to persuade the Americans to amend the peace plan, to be much more specific about security guarantees and to let Ukraine retain those so-called fortress cities in the east, in the Donbass. But of course, if that happens, then there is the danger that Russia then rejects the peace plan and we're back to square one. At this point, we do not know if Russia is retreating from its maximalist demands. We do not know if the Ukrainians are prepared to swallow this bitter pill. I think the next 24 hours, 48 hours will be decisive in understanding whether this elusive breakthrough can indeed be achieved.
Robert in Washington, thank you.